Hi friends, welcome to my channel. Love you guys. Thanks for being here today. I have a set of oil paints that I found at Ross. They're called Self-Made Creative. I paid very little for this set. I wanted to try oil paints and this is just going to give me a starter thing to get me going. And $5. I mean, seriously. Oil paints honestly aren't that expensive, but I know they can be a little tricky to work with, and I'm going to do this demo video and I'm doing it all wrong. I'm don't I have I'm writing painting on watercolor paper, and it's just I'm going to do it all wrong. So I don't have solvents, I don't have anything that's going to make it fancy like all the fancy artists use. And my friend Bob, his medium of choice is oil paints. That's what he's done for his whole life. But I wanted to give it a try. I thought $5 is a really cheap investment. This kit comes with the 4 brushes, the 12 paints, the cool little palette there that I can stick my thumb in and hold in different ways, which is kind of fancy schmancy for me, but it's a win. And so I'm just kind of experimenting today. I have no idea what I'm doing. This is a very first time I have ever painted with oils. I've got plenty of brushes, but after finding things out, you should have dedicated brushes. You're not supposed to use water, but instinctively I want to use water. I have it there, and I have it there. Don't think I'm going to use it. Wet wipes, paper towels, just all the things I think I'm going to need to paint. And again, doing it all wrong. Using watercolor paper and no solvents, nothing. Solvents are just something that makes a paint thinner. And you can get solvents that clean your brushes. You can get solvents that make your paint dry faster. I'm learning. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm going to flip the camera down a little bit so we have a little better angle. And I'm going to use this water soluble pencil just to make some lines. And I'm going abstract. I was watching a Judy Woods art, and she was talking how to start. And a lot of times it's just with a few lines. Start small. Don't put pressure on yourself. So that was fun advice for just starting out this little video. And so I have to open up all of the tubes, and honestly the colors look kind of vibrant, and they have a tiny bit of an oil smell, nothing very strong at all, which made me glad. I mean, with oil paints you run that risk. There's something interesting about oil paints. They talk about toxins in oil paints, but it's really not that bad. So I'm not freaking out about that, but I wouldn't put my fingers in it or eat it. Don't eat your oil paints. But been watching a few videos about oil painting, and I just really sparingly used them on this experimental day here. I just wanted to try them, see how they flowed, how they felt as far as on the brush. And sorry about the lighting, guys. I'm not at my regular studio. I am on vacation and just wanted to turn the camera on. Yeah, I found this kit while I was shopping with my husband at Ross. We just went shopping one day just to see if there's any sales. We actually have a Ross in Laramie now. That's kind of cool. Been there once. But anyway, found this little kit and thought, let's try it. $5? Yeah, let's. So anyway, after doing this video and then watching several other artists that do oil painting, I've learned a few things, and I have found a place in the town that we're staying at. Just a cute little art store. Oh my gosh, just the nicest lady who runs it, and they had everything. It had a little bit of everything in there. So I went in there and told her I'm starting to learn about oil paints. What can you recommend? And she told me to get some artist oil mediums, and I picked up some walnut oil. Yeah, there I go trying to water. And I know oil and water don't mix. I know this thing. Another thing about these oil paints, you can't really clean off your brushes between, I mean, not very well. You can wipe them off, but if you want to use a yellow, if you want to use a white after you've used another color, it's you almost have to either use a different brush or clean it off completely. And that's something else that I bought is a little jar brush cleaner, which is good for all kinds of paint. So that's just something that's nice to have for any painting medium to get your brushes super clean. Just a little jar of soapy thing. Also new to me. But I noticed that the blues here are about the same color. They're not very different to me at all. So maybe I'm missing something there. Um, and then these brushes, there's just the 4 brushes, and they're flat except for one of them, I think, is a pointy tip. But yeah, when I'm watching Landscape Artist of the Year and they're painting with oil paints, they are slathering it on in mega doses, thick and just piles of the paint and globbing it on their canvas. So not doing that today with these, but I have to say the black is nice and black. Very, very, very opaque. You cannot see through it at all, and I'm not using much at all. But it's also very dominant when I go to mix some colors. It just whatever I put with it turned black. So that's just something I learned. But again, a solvent is going to clean your brush and also make your paint spread thinner. And see with the red and the black, I am getting nothing. I thought maybe I'll get a really dark, deep purple, but all I got was just another black. So didn't really do much for a blending of color with that. Again, I've got a lot to learn on this, and I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to put in the time to learn. So I'm making this voiceover a couple days after I finish painting this little abstract doodly thing, and it's still not dry. So there are the solvents that, and I have one of them, I bought one, that will help your paint to dry faster, but you have to put it in the paint while you're painting. So I don't have a spray adhesive with me, but I think I might have to run down and get one just to have this dry, because I want to take it home with me, and it's like 3 days later and it's still tacky. And I didn't even use very thick paint. So we live and we learn. I like learning new things, especially with paints, different kinds of mediums. I want to try gouache. That is such a cool medium too. Been watching artists paint with that, and that just looks like butter. So anyway, there's so many options out there to be creative. And it's not like I paint things necessarily. I'm not great at exact representation. So it doesn't really matter. That's not the point. I just want to try new mediums. And you can see again with the brush, didn't quite get whatever blue was on there or the black. I'm not sure which, but it's still in that paint. So anyway, it still looks fun so far. And I like the vibrancy of the colors. And to lighten them up, the solvent would help to do that as well. And it'll make it much more smoother to work with. And now I'm just trying to blend. I'm just trying to see, can I make a purple here? And I kind of do. It's more of a black cherry, but it's pretty. It's still kind of pretty. Gives me a different color to work with on the palette. But when I was cleaning off the palette as well, it was just really oily, and you almost have to wipe it off as best you can first. And you can wash with soap and water, but it takes a little bit. It does take a little bit. So, but yeah, I don't have any dedicated brushes to oil, and that was something that the lady at the art store said, just have some oil dedicated brushes. And so these 4 are definitely going to be them. And I do have a few extra at home too, but I don't know, keep my eye open. And I don't think I want to buy a whole lot of supplies just so I can do this the right way. But I did buy a palette of a paper pad. It's not a paper pad, it's a canvas pad that I can cut down pages from. And that wasn't actually very expensive either. So I was just kind of like, this isn't an expensive hobby right now. I'm looking at the prices and thinking, if you can do this, the solvents were about $8. The paints themselves in this little pack was only $5. And so it's just, you can get kits online too for less than 30. So it's worth a try. If you want to try different mediums, this is a fun way. It spreads really nice. It just has a really smooth texture to it. And it's not I can see the resemblance between this and oil pastels. This is just a liquid form of oil pastels, in my opinion. And I'm still learning more about oil pastels, and I get on that every now and then and do a doodle with that. So art is about exploring, and that's my channel. Right now my intrinsic value in this video is playing and experimenting, discovering oil paints. So my friend Bob swears by him. That is his medium of choice, and he does such beautiful work. And what he likes about it is that you can rub off excess paint if you want a certain look, and it's super good to blend. You can blend really easy with them. He doesn't recommend using your fingers to blend, just because it's oil, and it will stain your clothes. It will stain. I mean, once it's on there, your clothes are painted. So wear a smock if you're going to get nutsy cuckoo wild with your painting. If you got a large canvas or whatever, definitely wear a smock. And I've got all the paint that I had on my fingers washed off okay, 'cause with the soap and water. But if you don't get it right away on your clothes, it's there forever. So that's my little painting. Like I said, I got a little bit on my fingers, not too bad. And if you're going to use solvents, you also, especially some of the lacquer thinners, you have to have your towels air out to dry, because they can spontaneously combust, which isn't good. So there's a little bit of a trick to this method of art. So I thought it was fun though, just to try the deep colors, and here's the satisfying tape peel. I didn't outline a few of the shapes, and I kind of wish I had, but I also wanted to see later on, once it does dry, can I go back with the Posca pen on this and see if I can sharpen up the lines with that. But would that ruin my Posca? I'm a little afraid to try until it's dried completely, or until I have a sealant on it. But I like the border on it. It looks like a postcard. It looks like something I could mount on with a little frame. But as you can see, I can wipe it off. It's still wet, as opposed to acrylics that would dry really quickly, and watercolors as well really quickly. But you're not going to get this vibrancy with the watercolor. You're going to have to use quite a bit to get that kind of vibrancy. So I don't know. Good experiment. I enjoyed my playtime with it, and I'm excited to do more with it, but I'm going to wait till I get back home to my craft room and just really, really experiment with it, and maybe even have Bob over and give me some tips and pointers, because he knows this medium better than anybody personally that I can think of. So this was just an experiment. I hope you enjoyed that. You got a little information, and do it the right way. Maybe get some wallpaper paper or something. Get a canvas to paint on, because watercolor paper, not the best medium for this, but it's what I had, and so that's what I used. So there you go. I tried it for you. So if you're curious about it, now you know how a very absolute beginner has done it. And this is what the results are. I had fun doing it. I hope you enjoyed watching this. I love you guys. Take care. And as always, God bless. Bye-bye.